Oh, South Africans, we're all cutting back on certain things just to get through to the end of the month, aren't we? It's due to the rising inflation and increased living costs. Well, that's according to TransUnion's Consumer Pulse study, which was conducted in the first quarter of this year. So just how can we try and cut back as South Africans? We're joined by Frugal living expert, Ncumisa Ndelu, joining us. Ncumisa, good morning to you. Good to have you with us. So where do we even begin to cut back? People will say they're already cutting back on whatever they can, but maybe there's more we can do. Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth. There's a lot we can cut back on. Everything that is an extra, everything that we don't need, we have to have already cut it back by now. But also try to repurpose. You buy one item, but you use it for more than one purpose. For example, a product like pine gel is very versatile around the home. You can use it for so many things. And also, we are now looking at alternatives and substitutes, because the way things are, we are definitely not affording the lives that we lived just 2 short years ago. So it's basically become critical that we look at everything we can use in our homes to substitute certain products, because they've become luxuries.
And that's the problem. What used to be considered essentials back in the day has become luxuries as well. Okay, apart from the odd household item as well, I would imagine most people, when they look at a lifestyle of frugal living, we're going to ask about things like food. Can we cut back on food? How do we do that?
Yes, we are cutting back on food. I think planting your own vegetables, for example, has become critical. I think choosing your cuts of meat differently has become very critical. Just this week in the group, I was talking about chicken feet, which is something that, was considered poor food not so long ago. And I read about it and I'm like, hey, this thing is so healthy. It's a substitute. I mean, in my own household, I was one of those people that couldn't just eat a plate of food without meat. But I've come to just accept that I'm just going to have to eat meat 3 times a week. And in between, I find something else to substitute, because life has become that expensive. I mean, yesterday, I told members of my group, One Family, One Stockpile, that I'm going to be doing this interview. And I wanted them to tell me what they want me to say. And they said they understand with everything that's going on, but there are basics that, women in particular should not be struggling for. Things like diapers, things like baby food, those things government must either consider subsidizing, or manufacturers must consider reducing the prices, because, I mean, raising a child can't not reach a stage where it's not affordable to a mother.
I don't have children, but got friends that recently had a little one about 9-10 months ago. I could not believe the cost of baby food. As friends, you go and buy a couple of packets of nappies and baby food and baby formula. I could not believe what it costs to raise a little child.
Let me paint you a picture. A social grant buys you 1 kilogram of baby formula.
That's it.
Yep.
How, before I start saying goodbye to you now, and the problem, I suppose, and I wanted to talk to you about it as well, it's all good and well to have a frugal lifestyle, but in the end, it's also an emotional issue. It's also a mental state that we need to change. Because let's be honest, we all work very hard for our money, and we feel like we deserve to have the nice things in life. We need to change that, don't we, in closing?
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that you're going to do cold turkey. Like I said, first of all, you need to start repurposing around the home. There are many things that you can do around your home. I mean, homes are not different. Like one of the tricks that we were taught in the group recently was to use pine gel, not just as a cleaner, but as a toilet freshener. And we've cut out the expense of toilet freshener in our home. And I mean, there are a lot of things that we can use in our home for that same purpose. You look around at the things that you use on a daily basis. I'm going to give you another example that will shock you. A few short years ago, 200 Rand used to get you a whole tray of pilchards, which is a good replacement for meat. These days, 200 Rand gets you just 8 cans, So life has really changed. And the sooner we accept that, the sooner we can begin to make the changes that we need to make to live the lives that we can afford, or not even afford, lives that are just bearable. Because at this point, we just want to live a life that is bearable.
You've raised two very interesting points, which we're going to try and pick up on as well. One is the cost, especially for women in our country and babies as well. Why is there not more government intervention there? We're going to follow that up. But that was a very good point. And the other is you've given a couple of good tips, Ncumisa, as well. I'm going to ask viewers to tweet us as well. How are you saving money at home? There's so many tricks. I'm sure Pine Jolly is genius. That's a great idea as well. But off the back of me saying goodbye to Ncumisa Ndelu, frugal living expert, tweet us. How are you saving the little bit of money we've all got? We'll try and find some of those comments a little bit later.